All right, clearing that throat. Welcome in to the Rant with me, Pugs Moran, live from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios in the beautiful E-Gallery in Dallas's Design District. It is the Friday before Christmas, and the whole world has stopped. You're not working today. Your kids probably aren't on school. I didn't even know that kids were off school today. Apparently, they get the Friday off now, too. Battling a little bit of a holiday congestion thing. It seems to me when I was a kid, we wanted more days off. I went to school in the Midwest, so we had the phenomena known as snow days, which in the 1980s and 1970s, it literally had to have been a blizzard where hundreds of people died for them to actually cancel school. So snow days weren't even a thing. I went to school during probably 50 blizzards, but I've probably only had 5, 6 snow days my entire life growing up in Blizzard Alley. Kids today, they get the threat of snow and they get the day off. Anyway, that's not why the kids are off here in Texas, because there is no threat of snow. They just get the days off. They're just constantly getting days off. They're never in school. Kids are never in school anymore. I don't know what to tell you. Hi, Peter. Peter's in the chat room. We got Jeff in the chat room. We got Kim. We got the sports bras. By the way, we should mention every day this show gets an executive producer. If you want to be the executive producer of this show, all you got to do is be the big tipper. Support non-political, regular dude talk radio. Talk radio for normal people who don't give a shit how you voted in the last election or how you intend to vote in the coming election. I don't care. We are normal people here. We run on your gratuities 3 years, every day, Monday through Friday. We've been trying to make X amount of dollars every month, and we do. So we keep going. I'm really battling a congestion thing. You may have noticed this week, like my voice was going in and out. I started to lose my voice. Anyway, every day, the Big Tipper is awarded the title of executive producer. We have an executive producer today, and it's become a regular executive producer these past few months. The Sports Bras Podcast. Soon to be a Radio Misfits Dallas production, but always very nice of them to support the ongoing effort. Thank you so much. If you want to be tomorrow's executive producer, well, first of all, here's what you got to do. You got to run out. You got to follow the Sports Bras, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all of it. They're everywhere. CC tell you all about it. He's in the chat room every day. He's one of the stalwarts. So thank you so much. Appreciate that. It's a great help. If you want to be tomorrow's executive producer or Monday's executive producer, all you got to do is drop a little something, whether it be in the Cash App or the Venmo. Make it easy for you. Boom, there you go. And we move forward. And maybe if you are the Big Tipper on today, you'll be Monday's executive producer. All right, enough of that stuff. Hold on, I got hot tea. I got hot tea because of this whole thing that's going on here. That's okay. I'm going to keep doing shows. I almost said shoes. So what is this? What is this that you're all watching here? What are you wasting this noon hour on a beautiful Friday before Christmas on? You're wasting it on me. We're going to do talk radio here. We're going to do talk radio of a variety that you can't get anywhere else. You're not going to hear this kind. How do I know? Because I've applied for every goddamn job out there. What's your political position on this? What do you think? I'm like, I don't know. I don't care. I'm just a normal person. I want to talk to normal people about normal things that we really care about. And that's what we do every day. So we've taken that show online. Like I said, 3 years ago, RadioMisfits.com is where we started this thing. Bounced around to a couple of different studios, but here we are at the end of 2024. 3 years in the books. Going to keep going, getting bigger. Now we've got permanent studios here in the E-Gallery, the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios. Got all of that stuff happening. So we're very excited. Got a big meeting today, this afternoon, about a show we're very excited about, bringing on the Radio Misfits Dallas platform, or just RadioMisfits.com. And figure that out. That's an Ed call. He's the boss. He's got to figure out how best to distribute this wave of new content that's coming in 2024. Anyway, it's talk radio for normal people. Okay. That's all it is. Yeah, sometimes we're going to disagree. Sometimes we're not, but we're always going to come back to, hey, let's go to the bar and get a drink, right? That's how normal people relate. We don't have to hate each other. Byron's in the chat room. Hello. We got Amy in the chat room. So good to see Amy. I don't see Amy every day, and that hurts. Jen Hernandez. Jameson's here. Also, Jameson. Don't see Jameson every day. See Jameson frequently, but not every day. And that hurts. Al is in the chat room. Do I have any small talk for you? No. Got a kids weekend. Got the kids weekend. Got a lot of football this weekend. A lot of football. Oh, my God. Didn't know my kid was off school, right? So that kind of changes my afternoon schedule. Thought usually I pick him up after he does weightlifting and all that, around 7 o'clock on Friday. Today, I think I'm going to have to get out there earlier, which is okay. Just means that I take him to Taco Bell at 7:30 instead of 9, which is usually taco. It's all he wants. I don't know if his mom is super healthy. Like his mom is like, she's the right person to be raising him and like building good habits and all that kind of stuff. She's super healthy. But for some reason, the only fast food my kid wants is Taco Bell. He gets in the car. He's like, can we go to Taco Bell? I'm like, yeah, that's what we do every Friday. Get you one of them chalupa boxes and a Baja Blast. By the way, are you guys familiar with the phenomena of Baja Blast? Is that something only for kids? Do only kids know about the Taco Bell Baja Blast? Because I was unfamiliar. I have a long-standing feud with Mountain Dew. I don't like Mountain Dew. I think Mountain Dew is like the worst of the soda pops. It's gross. What is that? It's not lemon lime. It's not ginger ale. It's like some kind of weird mutation of the two. I don't know. Anyway, I hate Mountain Dew. But apparently, if you go to Taco Bell, Mountain Dew's got a special drink that you can only get at Taco Bell. It's called the Baja Blast. Apparently, kids love it. And I can see why. Because every time my kid gets it, I'm like, I got to take my tax. And I drink like half of it on him. And then he gets mad. And then we laugh. Or more to the point, I laugh. He stews. And then, anyway, Baja Blasts are very good. They're very good. Come out of the fountain there. I don't know why they don't sell it in 2-liter bottles. Probably can't get it to taste that way, I don't know. It's probably a special. It's got to come out of the fountain to taste that way. Peter says Starry is real good. Yeah, I've been seeing that. Was it Baja? Nope. Love Baja Blast. Yeah, Baja Blast is great, man. CC knows. It's great. The kids discovered it. Not everything the kids are discovering is terrible. It's good. Starry, though. Peter mentioned Starry. I've seen Starry. Now, I don't think I'm accepting any new soda pops. I think soda pops have been well established in my life. All of a sudden, we've got Starry. I don't know what Starry is. Well, I know what Starry is because Starry is very obviously trying to confuse people into thinking they're either Sprite or 7-Up. So I know that it's that. Because it's got the green. I just don't know where it came from. All of a sudden, we're dealing with Starry. I don't know. Not a big lemon lime guy. And if I am a lemon lime guy, I'm a 7-Up purist. Get that Sprite out of here. Johnny come lately Sprite. Watch Sprite was first. That always happens. You think something that's well established as the original, and then something else that you think is a knockoff, but it's actually the original. You know where that's most famously seen? Oreo cookies. Did you know that Oreo cookies are the ripoff? Oreo cookies are the ripoff. You know what are the original? Those Hydrox. You ever seen those Hydrox sandwich cookies? And you always find them at like the Dollar Tree and stuff like that. And you're like, oh, look at those ghetto knockoff Oreos. They're not. No, the Hydrox cookie is the original Oreo cookie. Oreo stole it. Nabisco or whoever. I don't know. All right, that's enough. That'll constitute our small talk segment for today. Adam says it used to be called Sierra Mist. Oh, is that what Starry is? Did Starry used to be Sierra Mist, and then they went with the name branding, like a rebrand or whatever? Okay, all right, I'll accept that. I don't think I'm accepting Sierra Mist, though. I think that's also a Johnny come lately. That's neither Sprite nor 7-Up. I don't think we need a third in the lemon lime category, but here we are. All right, let's get started with the show. What is this show? It's a show that gives you everything you need to know about today. We break it down into 4 categories. I perform it as a stream of consciousness. The first category is something that we call antecedently on this day. Quarter 1, that's just this day in history. Quarter 2 is birthdays. You know what that is. Quarter 3 is deads. We look at people who died on this day, celebrities, notable quotables, historical figures, and we decide whether or not they went to heaven or went to hell. That's quarter 3. Quarter 4 is all the stuff we're talking about. Drones, Luigi, government shit down, all of that stuff. That's all coming up in quarter 4. So if you're ready, let's get started with the rant. Hi, Pugs Moran, Kelly Moore Memorial Studios, the E-Gallery. This is RadioMisfits.com and the rant for the 20th day of December, year of our Lord, 2024. December 20th, did you know, 355th day of the year, because of leap year. There's 11 days remaining until the end of the year. 11 days. When we reconvene here on Monday, there will be single digits left in the year. So get those New Year's Eve plans started. All right, let's get started here. Quarter 1, antecedently on this day, or this day in history, or, if you will, previously on the 20th of December. Excuse me. I'm gonna be coughing like that, and I can't always hit the mute button. I'm gonna try, I promise. All right, antecedently on this day in 1803, the Louisiana Purchase is completed at a ceremony in New Orleans. Boy, oh boy, Louisiana Purchase. Got that for a song, right? Now, what is that? It's not just Louisiana. Don't be thinking the Louisiana Purchase is just Louisiana. The Louisiana Purchase is all of Louisiana. It's like all of Mississippi, probably all of Alabama. I don't know. Wait, let me look at the map. Let me see what it is. All right, let's just say it's, you know what? It's not even all of Louisiana. Or actually, yeah, I guess it is, because the Mississippi River is going to create that natural border there. All right, so it's all of Louisiana. It's like all of, okay, I got to make this big. You know what? Let's look at this. Let's look at what the Louisiana Purchase was, because it's not just Louisiana. It's like a huge chunk. It's the entire midsection of these here United States. All right, there we go. All right, so what are we looking at here? So it's not even all of Louisiana, or is this Texas now? What is this area right here? See? Not included. This gold, see, there's gold on this side. We know what that is. That's like Alabama and shit, right? And then this is Texas. But what is this? What is this no man's land? All right, whatever. Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, big chunks of Minnesota, South Dakota, North Dakota, the Montanas, all the most useless but beautiful states. The Daryl Hannah states, if you will. They're beautiful, just not really all that bright. What's this about up here, Louisiana Purchase? Well, we own a chunk of Canada? Did we buy a chunk of Canada here? All right, on this day, there you have it, Louisiana Purchase. It's how we bought the central part of the whole country on this day, 1803. On this day in 1860, South Carolina becomes the first state to attempt to secede from these here United States with the South Carolina Declaration of Secession. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord splits you. It's a hard one to say for South Carolina because, again, South Carolina is such a pretty state. It ain't North Carolina. North Carolina is garbage. North Carolina is like Cleveland. It's like just South Carolina is beautiful, though. So it hurts me that they were so quick to secede from these here United States. Antecedently on this day, year 1940, Captain America Comics #1, containing the very first appearance of the superhero Captain America, is published. 1940, huh? Getting ready for World War II. We know we're going. We need a little America, go America propaganda. Enter Captain America. Now, I always thought my whole life growing up, Captain America, the resurgence of Captain America as being like a top shelf superhero, that's a 2000s thing. Because I promise you, my entire life growing up in the 70s and in the 80s and even into the 90s, in the superhero world, Captain America was a spare. He was, all right, he was a high-ranking spare, but he wasn't Batman, Spider-Man, Superman. Hell, he wasn't the Hulk. He wasn't Thor. He wasn't any of the people who got TV shows on networks in the 1970s. He wasn't. He was Captain America. I can tell you personally, I found him to be redundant. I didn't know why we needed a Captain America. Well, I know why Marvel needed a Captain America, because DC already had Superman. How are you going to improve on Superman? Superman as a character is the idealized form of what America's promise represents. That's who Superman is. But fine, on this day, I guess we need another. Captain America, born on this day, 1940. On this day in 1946, It's a Wonderful Life premieres at the Globe Theater in New York to mixed to negative reviews. It was a bomb, an absolute bomb. It's a Wonderful Life is, of course, today in 2024 considered one of the staples of Christmas time. If you grew up in the 1980s and 1990s, I don't know how it is now, because there are so many viewing options. But if you grew up in the era where there were only 4 channels and then some cable, but really just 4 channels, you saw It's a Wonderful Life every Christmas season. It was on TV. It was a big deal. It's a Wonderful Life is on. We all watched it. Now, the interesting story about It's a Wonderful Life, and a true Christmas miracle, if you will, is that Frank Capra, it was at the World War II had ended, and a lot of the great filmmakers in Hollywood, they were sort of out of commission for the war years, and many of them, Frank Capra included, they joined the military and they became propagandists, right? Hitler had Levi Riefenstein, right? We here in America, we had Frank Capra and Ford and Howard Hawks and all of these great directors of the era who were making our, American propaganda films. So when they came back, when the war ended, there was this mad dash of all of these great, but sort of, backbenched during the war years directors who had all of this content that they wanted to force out. And 2 of them, why can't I think of his name? Why can't I think of his name? He was like one of the great contemporaries with Capra. Frank Capra was, of course, like the Steven Spielberg of the era. Anyway, he had become friends with this other filmmaker. Can't remember his name. Crazy that I can't remember his name because he's a huge name. They'd become friends and they made a little bet. They said, I bet you that my first movie does better than your first movie, right? That's a first movie after the war. So Frank Capra creates It's a Wonderful Life, an adaptation from a short story from a book. And this other guy creates a movie called The Best Years of Our Lives, which is the Audie Murphy story. Why can't I think of that dude's name? God. All right. It's going to drive me nuts. All of this for the Christmas Miracle story. All right. Who directed Best Years of Our Lives? All right. Let's see here. Best Years of Our Lives, 46, American drama filled. William Wyler, that's it. William Wyler and Frank Capra had a bet on whose movie would do better. And of course, William Wyler, Best Years of Our Lives, won. It became a huge hit. Massive hit. It won the Oscar that year for Best Picture. However, It's a Wonderful Life was also nominated for Best Picture. Unfortunately, It's a Wonderful Life was a box office bomb, and it was an embarrassment for Frank Capra. And for years and years, he didn't even list it on his filmography. That's how embarrassing It's a Wonderful Life was. So it was relegated to the backbench of the Hollywood film, vaults or whatever, and everybody forgot about it. And then in 1974, It's a Wonderful Life fell into what's called a public domain, which means that the people who owned It's a Wonderful Life just didn't even think enough of it in 1974 to renew their ownership. All they would have had to do was file something with a government office, but they thought that little of It's a Wonderful Life. So what happened was somebody it was a guy in Los Angeles who was looking to fill Christmas time stuff. He found that movie and he put it on in Los Angeles. And for some reason, it clicked. He put it on Christmas Eve and everybody loved it. And the next year, there were 50 stations across the country who were just airing It's a Wonderful Life on Christmas Eve because it was free. It didn't cost them anything. Then cable broke out and Ted Turner made a huge investment. He bought the film outright. And Ted Turner started running it as a marathon for years and years on Christmas. And even though it was a major box office disappointment and a critical failure, It's a Wonderful Life ultimately defeated The Best Years of Our Lives in that little bet that they had, becoming an undisputed American film classic, a part of the American film canon. It's a Wonderful Life. So remember, here's what you take away from this little Christmas miracle. Life is a marathon. It's not a sprint. There you go. It's a Wonderful Life, released and derided and mocked on this day in 1946. Antecedently, on this day in 1989, the United States invasion of Panama deposes Manuel Noriega. The good old days. When we knew we were what are we, the world's policemen? Yes, we fucking are the world's policemen. Why is that so difficult for you people to understand? Manuel Noriega started fucking around in our backyard. We looked at it and we're like, this is going to be a problem. Let's take him out. Well, America shouldn't. Shut the fuck up. Yes, we should. You know why? Because the world is filled with pirates and bandits. If you believe in the American dream and you believe in what we stand for and what we represent to the rest of the world, you understand that there is no better nation in this world right now to stand up and say, hey, we're bouncing this fucking bar room. That's who we are. We made that decision years ago, and now all you people want to go back on it. We're all obese, stupid, unhealthy, but we got the world's most kick-ass military. And yeah, you're goddamn right, we're the world's police. Let's go. Let's arrest some thugs. Manuel Noriega, on this day, the Americans, we said, you know what? It's enough. We're going to depose this guy. We're going to take him down. And we did. It's when America was America. When we weren't afraid of people going, shut up. Everything's drones and robots now anyway. What are we worried about? Investing all of this research and development into, making wars bloodless for us? Let's go! Robots and drones for everyone who acts up. Antecedently on this day, in the year 2007, Elizabeth II becomes the oldest monarch in the history of the United Kingdom. Who cares? My Irish blood boils with every breath that woman took. No, I'm kidding. Let's do some birthdays. What do you say? You want to do some birthdays? Let's talk about people who were born on this day. We call it Q2. It's birthdays. I don't know if it's really their birthday. I'm not going to call their moms and say, is it true? Was it this day? No, these are just published reports. So let's talk about people celebrating birthdays. Let's see here. Oh, are we going to start? Yeah, we are. Yeah, you're damn right we are. All right, we're going to start out with a draft. Woo! First birthday boy of the day deserves our attention. Let me tell you why. You know that I'm a bit of a film director freak, right? And I'll tell you all the great film directors, and when they come up with a birthday, I'll give you a film director draft. This is a guy who I think is a top 5 film director of all time, and most people can't name one film that he's done. Why? Because he wasn't a Hollywood guy. He lived in Minnesota, and he just made movies. Like back in a time when you couldn't do that, when people didn't do that, now you can. Now directors can live wherever they want and be creative wherever they want. But this guy wasn't a part of the whole Hollywood thing. He didn't do interviews. You never saw him on The Tonight Show. He didn't walk red carpets. He didn't show up for award show. He just made a list of films throughout his career that are incredible. And he was born on this day, 1921, George Roy Hill, American director, producer, screenwriter. Who is George? I've never heard of George Roy Hill. 13 Oscars, okay? 9 BAFTAs, 4 Golden Globes, 2 Best Pictures, 2 Best Directors. George Roy Hill is an all-time baller, and I don't think enough people know who he is. So, let's do a George Roy Hill draft. Okay, George Roy Hill, one of my favorite filmmakers of all time. Here we go with the first pick. We do a draft the way we do it in the NFL, right? We look at his films as if they were kids coming out of college, and we draft them into the big leagues. So we start with the first overall pick. The first overall pick in the George Roy Hill draft I think it's his best film. I have sentimental attachment to this film, but that's okay. Everyone who has seen it is like, no, that's a baller film. Number 1, The Sting. Paul Newman and Robert Redford. The Sting. Number 1 off the board in the George Roy Hill draft. Number 2, this was a hard one. This was a hard one for me because number 2, I'm like, number 2 could be number 1. Why am I going to make number 1 number 1? Well, because my grandpa. My grandpa loved The Sting. So The Sting becomes number 1. Number 2, George Roy Hill film. Slapshot. Is there a better sports movie than Slapshot? Hell, I don't even like hockey, and it might be my favorite sports movie of all time. Number 1 in the George Roy Hill draft, The Sting. Number 2, Slapshot. Number 3 in the George Roy Hill draft. This is another one. It's like, how is that not number 1? I don't know. I love this film, but I also love The Sting and Slapshot. So number 3 is where we find Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. All right, so we've accounted for his 2 Oscars, for his two directing Oscars and all that stuff with The Sting and Butch Cassidy. Number 4 George Roy Hill film came a little bit later in his career. This one was from the 1980s. I was a kid and I was mesmerized by this movie. I didn't understand this movie. I've seen this movie 10 times. I mean, as I got older, I began to understand this movie more and appreciate it more and more. As I say, the first time I saw it, I was probably 12, and I was mesmerized by it because it was so weird. Then you see it again when you're 35, and you're like, this is a brilliant film. Number 4 in the George Roy Hill draft, The World According to Garp. The World According to Garp. Robin Williams, John Lithgow, Glenn Close. Incredible film from the early 1980s. All right, George Roy Hill draft. Number 1 is The Sting. Number 2 is Slapshot. Number 3 is Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Number 4 is The World According to Garp. Are you seeing this yet? The guy makes good films. Number 5, I'm gonna break. I'm gonna go deep. It's the 5th round. I'm gonna go deep. I'm gonna take somebody that I think has real potential. It's a real star. It's what didn't even come from a Power 5. It's a movie that I don't think did very well. I don't think anybody really saw it. And I believe it's one of those films that when people see, they're going to be like, that movie's funny. I'm like, yeah, it is. It's really funny. It's George Roy Hill, right? And it's like, oh, I didn't realize that was a George Roy Hill film. Chevy Chase's Funny Farm. Funny Farm. I think it's the most underrated and best of all the Chevy Chase films. Funny Farm. There is an ongoing bit in Funny Farm. So basically, Chevy Chase inherits a farm, or he buys a farm, or whatever. It's the Green Acres story. City guy moves out to the farm. So he moves out to the farm. He's got his wife. And very early on, along with the farm, comes a dog. Comes a dog named Yellow Dog. And Yellow Dog just comes with the house. And very early in the film, we see a dog just run by in the distance, like off in the distance, like, a couple football fields in the background. We see this yellow dog just wham, run through the field. And they're like, oh, there goes Yellow Dog. Throughout the course of the entire movie, this dog just appears in the background. It's fun. It's an Easter egg. Anyway, it makes me laugh. The Yellow Dog bit in Funny Farm makes me laugh. There's a dog. It's like in the background. Nobody's ever pet the dog. Nobody feeds the dog. The dog just comes with the house. He's here. Anyway, that's going to be number 5, Funny Farm. Now, we're also going to invite some George Roy Hill films. We're going to invite him to camp because they're all great. These are just a little bit earlier. He was big in the 60s. I love me some Peter Sellers. So I'm absolutely including The World of Henry Orient. They're going to get a camp invite. We're also going to give Thoroughly Modern Millie a camp invite from the George Roy Hill draft. How about the great Waldo Pepper? That's right. We're going to give him as well. And Slaughterhouse 5, which is a really good film. Notice a trend here. George Roy Hill loved working with Paul Newman. And through working with Paul Newman, George Roy Hill was introduced to Robert Redford. And then he loved working with Paul Newman and Robert Redford. The Sting, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. And then, of course, he would go on to work with Robert Redford alone and the great Waldo Pepper. And anyway, George Roy Hill, born on this day in 1921, one of my favorite filmmakers. any of those top 5 draft picks you can watch tonight and you'll be like, that's a good movie. That was a real enjoyable. The Sting is number 1. Slapshot is number 2. Butch Cassidy, number 3. The World According to Garp, number 4. And Funny Farm, number 5. Born on this day in 1946, also celebrating a birthday, one of the most prolific, although I don't give... You know who was prolific? Norman Lear was prolific. This guy is pumping out more content than Norman Lear ever did, but it's all a template. It's all the same thing. Happy birthday, born on this day, Dick Wolf. Dick Wolf, Law and Order. Like, see what I mean? It's a template. Like, he hit on one kind of show, and then he just made Law and Order this, and Law and Order that, and Law and Order, I don't know. Anyway, Dick Wolf, he's a big deal in TV, but I don't give him much artistic credit. Born on this day in 1966, happy birthday to Chris Robinson of the Black Crowes. Hey, little mama, let me let you can, because I'm too hard and I mess around. Was that it? I don't know. Black Crowes. Black Crowes are, if I could do off the top of my head a Battle and Brothers draft, they would certainly be in there. The Battle and Brothers. The famous rock and roll Battle and Brothers, right? You got Ray and Dave Davies from the Kinks. I think they really set the standard for the Battle and Brothers. Then, of course, we had these guys. We had Chris Robinson, our birthday boy today, and his brother Rich Robinson of the Black Crowes. They couldn't be in the same room together. Of course, we got the Oasis boys, Liam and Noel. They seem to have worked things out, so who knows? I really like the Black Crowes. I've seen the Black Crowes live 3 times. They're very good. They're a very good band. I don't know if they got their shit worked out where they can be in the same room. Anyway, happy birthday, Chris Robinson, born on this day in 1966. Born on this day in 1983, Jonah Hill. I don't know. What do you want to say about Jonah Hill? Born on this day in 1994, Calvin Ridley. I bet you he's having a good birthday. Calvin Ridley. He likes to bet. He got suspended for an entire year for betting on football and stuff. All right, let's do quarter 3 now. These are the people who've died. These are the people who've died. Shout out Jim Carroll. Let's decide whether or not these fine folks, and sometimes despicable individuals, where'd they go? Did they go to heaven or hell? Dead on this day in 1968. Here's a big one, a literary lion. One of the absolute greats in American literary history, nay, world literary history. Why just relegated to America? Dead on this day in 1968, John Steinbeck. What are you talking? You talking East of Eden? What are you talking? You talking Mice and Men? You talking Grapes of Wrath? Huh? If that's what you're talking about a guy that we mentioned in the same breath as Hemingway and F. Scott Fitzgerald. So where do we put John Steinbeck? Dead on this day in 1968. We put him in hell, where any good writer belongs. No good writer wants to go to heaven. There's no challenges. There's no drama. There's nothing to scribble down furiously. John Steinbeck is in hell, and he wants to be there. Dead on this day in 1968. Dead on this day in 1976. Richard J. Daley, American lawyer, politician, 48th mayor of Chicago. Hell, a bunch of old people will tell you the last time Chicago had a good mayor. You can't give him credit. Dude was a baller. He was the most powerful politician in America. A mayor of a city. Ran the most formidable and powerful machine. Get out the vote. He could swing any election. He was a baller. He ran that city like a king, like the way a king would run. That's how powerful he was as mayor of Chicago for decades and decades. And then they just made his son the mayor for decades and decades. Hey, he's going to hell, though. I'll tell you that. Richard J. Daley, that guy was a politician. And we have a rule around here. Football coaches, politicians, and actresses all basically go to hell when they die. Dead on this day in 1996. Let's talk about this guy, because this guy, he's going to disagree with wherever we put him, because he didn't believe in either a heaven or a hell. He believed in the science. He believed in the stars. He believed in what was out there. Dead on this day in 1996. Carl Sagan, ladies and gentlemen. Carl Sagan. I loved Carl Sagan. I was a little guy. He always did the cool space stuff. Carl Sagan was a weirdo. Yeah, he's a weirdo. He's weird. I'm weird about space. He's a weirdo, but really good at what he did. He doesn't want to go to heaven. He doesn't want to go to hell because he doesn't believe in any of that stuff. But honestly, I can tell you from being a kid and watching Carl Sagan, I'm putting him in heaven because he meant a lot to a lot of kids who are interested in that kind of stuff. So many people are scientists today. So many people are doing and carrying on his work because of the kind of programming that Carl Sagan did. He's going to heaven. There you go. Dead on this day in 1996, American astronomer, astrophysicist, and cosmologist. He did makeup? Wow. Dead on this day in 2009. This is a shame. This one bothers me. Nobody is protecting her. Nobody was looking out for her. Nobody wanted to look out for her. There should have been a line of dudes looking out for Brittany Murphy, who died on this day in 2009. Instead, she married some slob of a con man, some gypsy bullshit con man who was not. How did he get? Well, she's an actress. I don't know if you're familiar with the story of Brittany Murphy. Brittany Murphy was an amazing young actress. She had a big, big future in front of her. She would still be acting. I totally believe that Brittany Murphy was of the acting caliber that she could have transitioned to more grown-up and mature roles, Jessica Chastain type roles, if you will. She didn't get the chance. She was an actress, which means that she was probably like all kinds of messed up already. You know, most actresses are. It's a very sad thing. Although in many cases, it's self-inflicted, but we won't split hairs on that, especially when discussing the tragic end to Brittany Murphy. She ended up marrying some dude, some like old fat dude who didn't even have money and he wasn't handsome, and Brittany Murphy is like gorgeous. It's like, what are you doing with this guy? And apparently this guy was like some kind of Svengali. He was like, you know, in her mind. He like totally brain controlled her. I don't remember exactly what I think happened to Brittany Murphy because I've watched all the documentaries, but I watched them, you know, a couple of years ago and I was probably high when I watched them. So I didn't retain all the most, you know, minute details. But here's what I think. Her husband had something to do with her demise, but so did her mother. Her mother and her husband, she was the cash cow, man. They were just, and now she's gone. Brittany Murphy, goddamn right she's going to heaven. She's a little angel up there, unless she's a crazy actress and God has already been like, no, go. I don't know. I just know I like Brittany Murphy, and I think that's a tragedy. Dead on this day in 2022, Franco Harris. Franco. Good old number 32 of the 1970s and 80s Pittsburgh Steelers, a running back, one of the most accomplished running backs in the history of the game. There's a lot of time there when my guy Walter Payton was, you know, closing in on the all-time leading rushing record, where you had Franco Harris, you know, right behind him. You know, Franco Harris was one of those guys. He's a top. I don't know if he's still top 5, but he was top 3 back then. It was Jim Brown, Walter Payton, Franco Harris. Here comes Franco. Of course, this is before the world met Emmitt Smith or Barry Sanders. So like I say, the rankings have changed. Franco Harris was a great running back. The knock on Franco Harris was that he didn't take hits. Back in the 1970s when, you know, you had guys like Earl Campbell, whose career was basically cut short because of hits. Billy Sims, whose career was absolutely cut short because of hits. Tony Dorsett, whose career wasn't cut short. He took less hits, but he certainly wasn't afraid to take hits in the 1970s. And Walter Payton, who just flat out ran people over and seemed to be indestructible. He missed one game his entire career. Franco Harris, on the other hand, was a guy who was often criticized for running out of bounds. He was a bitch, and now he's in heaven. Or hell. Oh, hell. Yeah, hell, right? We put him in hell for running out of bounds. All right, you just look at a compilation clip of Franco Harris giving up yards. That was always the bullshit argument that Steelers fans had. Well, Franco ran out of bounds, and you know how many yards he gave up? If he didn't run out of bounds, he'd have those yards. And my argument was no. If he had gone for those yards, he'd have taken those hits, and Franco probably would have missed games. So it's all a wash. Bottom line is, your guy's a pussy. He ran out of bounds. My guy didn't run out of bounds. My guy took the hits and didn't miss games. Sorry, I've got a little bit of deep-seated, long-standing anger for the Franco Harris versus Walter Payton argument from 1982 that I used to have as a mouthy 13-year-old. All right, let's see here. That's going to do it. That's we're putting Franco here. We're putting Franco in hell. Nah, heaven? I shouldn't be petty. Franco's going, no. Wasn't he kind of a dick at the end? Didn't he do some dicky things? I think that like Franco Harris did something like 20 years ago where I was like reminded that I didn't like him in the 80s. And I was like, yeah, that tracks. So whatever. He's in hell. Franco Harris. Let's go run out of bounds, bitch. All right, one more time. Thank you to our executive producer of today's show. They are the Sports Bras. You need to check them out. Follow them, whether it be on Twitter or YouTube or wherever. Coming soon here to Radio Misfits Dallas. How did the Sports Bras get to be the executive producer? Well, they tipped the most. They tipped the biggest during yesterday's show. And the person who tips the most during a given show becomes the executive producer of the following show. And if that's something you'd be interested in because, well, one, maybe you like the show. Two, you want to support this kind of talk. It's non-divisive, regular folks talking about regular things. If that is something you're interested in, well, I would like to encourage you to drop a little something, just like CC and the Sports Bras did. You can do it in the Cash App or you can do it in the Venmo. Okay, that's enough of that. We'll leave that up. Adam says he was allegedly a super nice dude talking about Franco. Fuck you. Like, I need that. Like, I need that. It was apparently really nice. Shut up. Adam Rainey, he was quite beloved. Where was Franco? Pittsburgh? Doesn't count. Doesn't count. Besides, I ain't taking any of your Pittsburgh nonsense. You don't know dick about Pittsburgh. You a couple of years ago, you're like, Mike Tomlin's like the worst coach. And I'm like, he's beloved. And you're like, no, he's not. I know somebody in Pittsburgh who said they hate him. I'm like, no, he's the best coach in football. You're like, no, he sucks. I don't need any of Adam Rainey's Pittsburgh Steeler hot takes from this point forward. I like Mike Tomlin. I like Mike. He's my favorite coach in the NFL. Adam Rainey talks shit on him. Sports Bras would like everyone to check out their Christmas episode this weekend. Why don't you tell folks how they can find it, where they can go? I'm not good at that stuff, CC, so help out. Big Christmas episode there for the boys. All right, what do you say we get started? Drink some more coffee. Coffee. It's not even coffee. I don't even get coffee because I got to drink tea because of my voice. Life is so hard. Slept with the window open again last night. I told you about how the other night I'm living life on the edge. I'm having a little bit of stuffed up, right? I'm feeling a little stuffy and the heat's going and all that. So I'm cracking the window now at night just to get fresh air and it's working. It's helping me sleep. It's also dropping the temperature of the room down into the high 30s or low 40s in the middle of the night. And, that's nice. That's nice when you're cocooning, when you're under the comforters and, your head is popping out and it's cold, but whatever. It's nice. It's good sleeping weather, as I like to call it. Of course, that all fell apart last night, 3:30 in the morning. When it's actually 3:14. I remember looking at my phone. That all fell apart when at 3:14 in the morning, I had to take a poop. That's right. Middle of the night poop. The worst kind of number 2. Because you're like, well, this is going to wake me up. I'm going to be awake for 2 hours now. And why was it so bad? Because the middle of the night number 2 session that normally doesn't happen. It's very odd. It's happened a couple of times recently, and I'm not concerned yet. But if it happens again tonight, I'll start to be concerned. But it hasn't been, a regular part of my life. I get up and go number 1, not all the time. I'm not like a 70-year-old, but sometimes. Anyway, point is this. It was freezing. Oh, my God. I had to get up, and I knew it was going to be a timely session. It wasn't just going to be, this is not conversation for the stream. I am so sorry. My point is this. It was nice when I was sleeping in bed, cocooning with the window open, and it was really cold. It was not so nice when I had to wake up and go poop. That was not good. Oh, what? You can't handle that? Or what? I suppose you don't do that? We're just human beings. Stop being so juvenile. See, that's what we call in this. What I just did there, that's supposed to be relatable content. You're not supposed to be repulsed by it. Is that my problem? Everything that I think is relatable is actually repulsive. Let's get started. Here we go. Let's talk about all the things that are happening quarter four. The first and biggest news of the day. Maybe this is a bigger news story. I don't know. I'm looking at something right now flashing across the screen. Pentagon has announced that approximately 2,000 U.S. troops are in Syria. Let's go! Pugs, you're a hawk. No, I'm not. No, I'm not a hawk. I'm just tired of these tin pot bullshit MFers screwing up the world for the rest of us. And if it's time to clear the bar, it's time to clear the fucking bar. All right. Also, apparently, Russia is launching a deadly missile attack on Kiev. Whatever. I don't live in Russia, and I don't live in Kiev. I don't know what to do. All right, let's talk about the government shutdown. The government shutdown is the big story. This wasn't even a thing until like a day ago or something, right? They were gonna keep the government open through the holidays and all of that stuff, and it was gonna be fine. Kicking the old can down the road as we like to do, but apparently it's Elon Musk went and got involved. They're not even in office yet. This is supposed to be like the trends. It used to be in years past, like if there was this kind of shit going on, people would be like, you can't do this in a transition. Now we don't even call flags. We're not even throwing flags on the play anymore. We're just like, whatever. They're going to do whatever. They're really just president now. Whatever. Elon is president. Trump is president. I don't even know. But apparently Elon's getting involved and he's doing all kinds of things. And the deal fell apart. Like last minute, last night, 2 nights ago, whatever, is when it all fell apart. And what you got happening here is you've got a Republican majority that seems to be at each other's throats. MAGA loyalists like Texas Representative Chip Roy is getting his ass kicked by Trump. Like totally. Okay, so we know how Ted Cruz responds to this, right? Like Ted Cruz, before he knew what he was dealing with Trump, Ted Cruz got all tough and he said some things about Trump. And then Trump was like, fuck you, you dumb bitch. Your wife is ugly and your dad killed JFK. And Ted Cruz was like, I'm sorry, sir. So we know about that type of Texan that we elect to the Senate, right? We got that guy. Your wife is ugly. And then he kisses that. So whatever, I understand it. Political viability. He made a choice. He decided that he would have no shame, and he would. Other men would look at him in a negative way from here forward. But whatever, he might win re-election in Texas, and power is all that Ted Cruz is really interested in. So okay, so we got that. Ted Cruz fell in line. Chip Roy now finds himself sideways. Chip Roy, Austin area representative. He's pissed at Trump and Elon for blowing up this bipartisan agreement. And now Trump is like, you stupid, and I'm going to primary you. Chip Roy was on, I think it was Fox News today. They're like, hey, so are you concerned about being sideways with, by the way, Chip Roy is also representative of a number of other Republicans who are finding themselves getting steamrolled by Elon Musk and Trump, which, I don't know if they expected, whatever, they empower, they're MAGA, they're involved. So, I guess Trump just wants them to vote the way he wants. And a lot of people are like, yeah, that's not how we want to vote. Chip Roy being one of the greatest examples. So he was on like Fox News and they're like, hey, Trump is pissed at you. And Chip Roy goes, because Chip Roy needs to protect his MAGA base, because his MAGA base, they do what Trump wants. That's why he's like, and Chip Roy goes, nah, everything's fine. We just had a little disagreement, but he and I, we're fine. Like that's Chip Roy. And then they put up Trump's tweet from Truth Social that's like, Chip Roy is a loser. I'm going to primary him. He's too ambitious. Never liked that guy. And then so of course Chip Roy's like, well, but that's not really what he means. We're friends. We're still friends. It's so humiliating. These dudes getting cucked so fucking publicly and then just being okay with it. Like not even being like, look, I'm making some choices for my political longevity here, which I guess they can't say because, what would my response to a politician saying some shit like that? Probably say, yeah, well, you shouldn't get votes then. Anyway, Elon's mixing shit up. Elon's using Twitter but apparently, now this is a story here. Let me see if I can find this story. Hold on. By the way, I don't know anything about the economy. I don't give a shit about any of this stuff. This is not I'm not going to tell you how to keep the government open. I don't, whatever. I'm just telling you how the sausage is made, and I'm commentating on it. I'm doing play-by-play. All right. So apparently Elon Musk, who is like upending this deal, he got the ball rolling by putting out on Twitter his platform that he owns. So if he wants everyone to see it, he'll just tweak the algorithm or whatever. So he puts out there that inside this bipartisan deal is a raise for congressmen and funding for the new Washington Commanders Stadium. Elon Musk put it out there. He's like, this bill must be stopped because the congressmen want to raise and they want to build a new stadium. But apparently that shit's not true. Like, that's not in there. Like, he just put it out there and everyone's like, yeah, let's take the deal. And now there's no deal. I don't know. I don't care. Remember, after the election, folks, I've made a lot of changes in how I'm just going to exist in this world. I am no longer concerned about the greater good. I am just simply all about getting mine. Genie's out of the bottle. That's who we are in America now. We are all getting mine. And government shutdown, I don't work for the government, so I don't care. I'm not going to any national parks. I don't care. Oh, is it going to be sad for some people? Some people, but I don't know them. I don't know them. I don't care. So we are now. I'm not comfortable with it yet, as you might be able to tell, but I'm working on it. 2025 is going to be an incredibly selfish year for me. Incredibly selfish. All right. So government shutdown. I don't know. They got a deal going. Trying to pull it off by what are we in the last 8 hours or something? It's going to be something that's going to interrupt my football games tonight with some breaking news about some last-minute deal. I don't know. Anyway, government shutdown. Here we are. What does the government do anyway? Are we going to feel it? Nope. Because we don't work for the government, so we don't care. Luigi. Let's talk about Luigi Mangione. He's, of course, the CEO killer. 20% of people polled by the New York Times, 20% are like, yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of his work. I like what he's been doing lately, and I look forward to his future projects. 20%. 20% of people are like, Luigi's a good guy. Good for him. Keep going. He did his walk of shame yesterday. They had to fly him back. He waived his extradition. He was being held there in Pennsylvania, where they caught him there in Altoona. He was fighting the extradition. He's like, you can't send me back. And they waived the extradition, but then I guess it doesn't really matter if they were going to waive it anyway, because federal charges got dropped on him. We were talking this as a state crime, which is why New York wanted him back. But now the feds are like, no. This is going to be federal. We're going to get him federal, which is a big deal because all other state charges have to be now moved to the background. This is all about the case at the federal level, and they're going to bring it. So federal charges include, murder, which I guess is a federal charge. I guess he crossed state lines. So there you go. The silencer on the gun, that is another one of the federal charges. Stalking. He's being charged with stalking at the federal level. So, okay. So he's going to be brought to justice, if you will, at the federal level. He did his walk of shame. They flew him from Pennsylvania, New York City. Let's take a look at him. There he is. He's single, which let me just point something out here. I said very early on, because I'm an incredible judge of character. I can tell your body language, the way I know everything about you. Give me 5 minutes with you and I'll, decide whether or not I want to be in business with you. The way you talk, the way you carry yourself, all of those things are tells for me. I'd be an amazing poker player, but I just not good with numbers. He's gay, right? I mean, from the very beginning, I'm like, he's totally gay. And people are like, no, what do you mean he's gay? I'm like, he doesn't strike you as gay? After the election, I went out to my mom's garage and I got my old gaydar out, took it out of mothballs, fired it back up. I've been using my gaydar now since Trump won re-election because I think it's okay again, right? So I'm using my gaydar, and that dude's gay. He's obviously gay. Why does that matter? It doesn't. Other than the fact that here's why it matters, because I'm a bit juvenile and that suggests sexy stuff. And it's like, now we get to think about sexy stuff. I mean, I'm not casting judgment. Just a fun little fact about, people who are in the news, how he gets off. Excuse me, but I find that interesting. So anyway, I think he's gay. And there's a couple of reasons why I think he's gay. One, incredibly attractive. People who are that attractive, they tend to, I don't know. I can't explain it. But people that attractive, automatically I'm like, okay, so he's probably gay. He looks like he spends way too much. Do you see his eyebrows? Dude, those eyebrows are manicured perfectly. He's like really obsessive about his mind. Straight guys don't care. Straight guys are Anthony Davis with the unibrow, right? No, he doesn't have a unibrow. He's working that through. Anyway, so he's really good looking. We can all... I think you're gay. You're the one who keeps saying he's good looking. Ladies and gentlemen, that is, of course, my co-host who sometimes shows up. He's the voice inside my head. Schizophrenic me. Yes, schizophrenic me. I do keep mentioning that he's attractive because, again, in a story like that is a very interesting component that I believe changes the way people are covering the story, especially girls. Anyway, so he's gay. I mean, I think he's gay. He's just, my gaydar's going off. I'm like, this dude's gay. Okay, not a big deal. Again, no judgment, but he's in the dudes. So then we start seeing his friends, right? And we start seeing his friends from high school and his girls. Like I saw one girl that was his friend, and she described him as being so sweet and always there for her. So he's that guy. He was that guy in high school. He doesn't have a whole bunch of high school girlfriends stepping up. Did you see this dude? I know he was valedictorian, but did you see this guy? This guy had no high school girlfriends. This guy went to no dances. What? Okay, so he's got no high school girlfriends. Then we start to meet the people in his life from his, grown-up times. He moves out to Hawaii and he moves in with a dude. He's living with a dude, a roommate. So we get to see this guy, the roommate that he's living with. This dude on like day 2 or 3 is all over CNN, Fox News, MSNBC. Oh my God, he is loving the limelight. His roommate's gay. His roommate is totally gay. I'm like, okay, that dude is like, he's on, Will and Grace. I'm like, so either he's like totally cool. And he's like, yeah, man, I don't care. I'll live with a gay dude. Well, I'd live with, I don't think I've ever lived with a gay dude. Now that I think about it, I've lived in houses with a lot of dudes. I don't think any of them were ever gay, but that's not a deal breaker. It wouldn't have been a reason they couldn't live there. Anyway, point is this. So his roommate in Hawaii, he's a roommate who, knew all about how he needed to get a special bed because he couldn't sleep and he tossed and turned and all that stuff. That guy comes out. He doesn't say he's gay or anything, but it's, again, we're putting together context clues. Dude's got no high school girlfriends. He looks like that. He's got no high school girlfriends. He goes out to Hawaii. We meet his roommate, and his roommate's obviously a gay man, like a much older gay man too. Like, I think like the situation with the gay man in Hawaii was like, maybe it was his condo and he was letting him live there for free. And let me tell you, nothing's for free in this world. Not that he needed it for free because Luigi came from money and he had money. So, okay. So here we are all of these weeks later now. We're looking at him here as he's making his perp walk. All of these weeks later. And we still haven't met a girlfriend. We still have a guy who looks like this, doesn't have a whole bunch of chicks in his past that are going to be like, yeah, we hooked up in a bar. Yeah, back in college, we hooked up after a party. Yeah, in high school, we went to this, that. He's got none of that. He's got none of that. All right. Anyway, I rest my case. He's gay. Nobody's talking about it. Maybe that's progress. I'm still a little bit juvenile, so I think it's funny. I am interested in where he sticks his wee-wee. I'm interested in where everybody sticks their wee-wee. No judgment. It's just information I like to have. Can't explain it. Doesn't make me better. Doesn't make you worse. Just information. All right, let's watch. Am I crazy, or does he have some serious Sacha Baron Cohen in him? Borat, right? Like, this dude's got some Borat in him. Like, this could be a Sacha Baron Cohen bit. used as, probably not the best thing to say, but quite frankly, he's walking like a gay man. I think he's walking like a dandy who's in shackles. Again, it doesn't matter. It's just interesting. Just a fun fact. Oh, but it does matter because others will use that tone to marginalize. I can't be responsible for how others react to things that I say. Okay? Not doing that anymore. Not worried about how the fucking stupids react to shit that I say. Look, what's that? What's going on there? Look at his lips. He's Borat. Borat. All right, there you have it. There you go. Luigi Mangione made his perp walk. Got into his car. He didn't yell. He's very much in control. He's not a raving crazy psychopath. I think he knows what he's doing. I think he wants to stand trial. He wants to say some things. He wants to get some things out there, and he wants people to start talking about him. And 20% of people out there polled by the New York Times say, go Luigi. 20%. That's crazy. Let's see. Oh, also, he had some things. One of his friends now is talking about, one of his Hawaii friends is talking about some interesting little fun facts about Luigi. Like, for instance, Luigi didn't like online porn. He thought online porn was something that was incredibly damaging to young men. And I agree. 100%. I've been saying that for years. I'm not against porn. I think if people want porn, I think if you want to create porn, you create porn. I'm not against porn. I got no problem with porn. I think porn is incredibly dangerous for young people. 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old little horny boys. Porn sets an unrealistic and unacceptably fictional version of what a real, mature love life is supposed to be. I think it's dangerous. I think, I've heard things and seen things, and, people are like, yeah, I've been married to the same woman for 10 years. She's not attracted, or I'm not attracted to her anymore. Why? Because now, for some reason, I'm only attracted to giant fake boobs and blonde hair and 19 years old. That's what porn does. It sets these unrealistic expectations. It's dangerous. Me and Luigi agreed with that. Me and Luigi. What else did he have a problem with? Social media. He also thought social media. It's why he doesn't have this crazy big social media thing. Footprint, I guess they call it. Luigi didn't like social media. He thought it was dangerous. And he's right. Again, he's right. Let's see. What else do we have here? Oh, so we got some strikes going on this Christmas season. Apparently, Amazon workers are on strike. Amazon workers are very upset. They're treated like absolute garbage. We know this. We hear this story every year. Trying to unionize. Also, Starbucks workers are on strike today in Los Angeles, Chicago, and Seattle. They're, again, trying to unionize. And I'm pro-union. I don't begrudge Starbucks and Amazon workers trying to make sure that they are afforded the protections that working people in America have been promised. Don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is the idea that Starbucks or Amazon delivery people are looking at these jobs as their primary source of employment. Because that's where you need union protections, in your primary employment, right? The job that you're going to do for the next 20, 30 years, you have no intention of leaving. You're going to raise a family on this job. You're going to buy a house on this job. You're going to contribute to the community those are the jobs that I believe require union representation and protections. I am just a little bit ooked out at the idea that there are so many of us who are looking at jobs like Starbucks and Amazon as being the primary job. That's a problem. Those are gig jobs. They're supposed to be side hustles. They're supposed to be things that amplify or add to whatever it is that you're already doing and already grinding. We're making these things union jobs where that's your whole life. You're just gonna, I don't know. I don't like that. I don't not support the strikes. Okay. Don't get it wrong. I don't not support. I'm all about workers in the world. Unite. Isn't that a communist slogan? You're damn right it is, but also Americanism. Let's go, workers. Let's take this country back. The middle class built this country. I just don't think you can have a middle class if dad is working the day shift at Starbucks. That is not the promise of America. All right, so we've got Amazon workers and Starbucks workers are on strike. Here's a fun story. I don't know if you, I guess you could, I saw one person tweeted, asshole hunting season is open, which is kind of ugly when you consider the death of the United Healthcare CEO a couple of weeks ago. And now this, what is this? This is the story of Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes is a white supremacist. He's a Mexican white supremacist, which I've always found curious. Hey, Nick, you ain't white. I know you're fighting for all us white guys and all that, and I guess I appreciate it. You ain't white. How do I know? Because my grandpa would have said you ain't white. Sorry, Nick Fuentes. Am I pronouncing that right? Mr. White Pride? Nick Fuentes. So many Mexicans out there. Mexicans, Cubans. Yeah, that dude was like the leader of the Proud Boys. He's like cute. I'm like, dude, you are trying way too hard to fit in. You are not. This is like one step removed from that Dave Chappelle skit where the black blind guy was the leader of the Klan. That's all right. So whatever. Nick Fuentes, he's a far right Nazi, Chicago area. Berwyn. And here's the other thing about Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes went to Lyons Township High School. He's a fancy boy. Went to Lyons Township High School. Bunch of rich kids from Hinsdale, LaGrange, and Western Springs. That's where he comes from. That's where white pride Nick Fuentes comes from. Anyway, it's very popular with the absolute worst people in this country. And he's also drawn the attention of some other people who are really awful in this country, and those are the crazy, radicalized left terror freaks. And Nick Fuentes started a couple of weeks ago. He does his live stream show the way I do it here from the e-gallery. He does his live stream show from Berwyn in the Chicago area. Suburb. It's a suburb right outside Chicago. It's literally bumpers against Chicago. It's like Berwyn. If you want to go downtown, you want to be at the lake, it's 5 minutes away. So it's right there. So he does the show from his house. And a couple of weeks ago, a lady, apparently he got doxxed, which, what is that? Where they let people, your information out online. So a lot of people who don't like Nick Fuentes, the white supremacist, they got his information where he lives. And a woman went over there a couple of weeks ago and she's like, I hate you, Nick Fuentes. And did he pepper spray her or something? And that turned into a thing? I don't know. Anyway, we've taken it up a notch here with the Nick Fuentes thing. Let me show you this. This is how it's being covered locally in Chicago. This is local NBC5. The reporter is committing a cardinal sin. The reporter has no idea how to pronounce Berwyn. Berwyn is how you pronounce the suburb of Berwyn. This Chicago reporter is obviously from out of town and new because he refers to it as Berwyn. Berwyn, in the town of Berwyn. And I'm like, go, fuck you, man. Go back to wherever the hell it is you're from. You ain't from here. You can't even pronounce the name of the city right. All right, so here you go. Where's the story? NBC5. All right, here we go. Developing story. All right, so here we go. Let's watch the way the Nick Fuentes deal, because it's a much crazier story than I could give it credit for. So let's establish it the way it's being reported. Nick Fuentes, far-right streamer, YouTuber, white supremacist, had a bit of an incident at his home in Berwyn. Here's how NBC5 covered it in Chicago. Nope, hold on.
Story in the suburbs. Let's talk about all the twists and turns in this developing story in the suburbs. A suspect in a triple murder in Illinois was shot and killed outside of a home in suburban Berwyn. And then the incident took another alarming twist.
Because a controversial far-right provocateur says he was also a target. NBC5's JC Navarrete joins us live in Berwyn tonight. And JC, what have you been able to find out?
Allison, Stefan, this is a complicated investigation. Like you mentioned, there's a triple murder that happened about 100 miles from where I'm standing. A suspect that was shot, killed right around this area as well. We're in the alley because it did become part of this investigation. We also have that far right controversial.
All right, so first of all, let me catch you up where we are. This dude doesn't know where he is. He's new in town. He can't even pronounce, he's going to mispronounce the town downstate where the first murder occurred. So apparently there was a murder that occurred about 100 miles south of Chicago in rural downstate Illinois. That person got in his car and drove up to the Chicago area after killing the people down there and decided that he was going to hunt Nick Fuentes. That brought him to Berwyn, and that's where we are in the story.
Figure Nick Fuentes claiming he was a potential target for this violence. We have also learned that suspect's identity. He has been identified as 24-year-old John Lyons of Westchester, Illinois. So let's get to
all right, so the suspect is from Westchester, which is just one town over. Also, a nice Western, upwardly mobile, rich people. I come from working class, so I would call rich people, you know, your dad's a lawyer. You live in Westchester, that kind of thing.
To write what we do know, confirmed here this afternoon by police. Police do tell us that at 11:38 last night, they were responding to a call of a man with a gun. When police arrived, Lyons took off and broke into a home in the 1800 block of Waynona Avenue, where he shot and killed 2 dogs.
Killed 2 dogs. That Nick Fuentes survives. He kills 2 dogs. Not that I want to see Nick Fuentes dead. Got to be honest. If the news report came across Nick Fuentes is dead, I'd go, well, that's going to happen. Anyway, 2 dogs? You're going to kill 2 dogs?
Police then say that Lyons ran through a yard on Home Avenue again, and that's where the standoff began with police. Police told him to drop his gun. Instead, he opened fire, and that's when police shot back and killed him. This afternoon, we do learn that controversial far-right streamer Nick Fuentes is claiming he was an additional target. This is a screenshot from the platform X that he posted where he references that suspect who can be seen with a gun and a crossbow. Today, I did have a chance to speak to neighbors who are still processing this complication.
All right, we're going to talk to Nick Fuentes' neighbors, who I'm sure are not happy about Nick Fuentes living next door.
In an investigation, here's what they told me about what they saw and what they heard.
I was woken up to yelling.
Representing with the Sox hat. Gotta love it.
And then we heard possible gunshots. I can't confirm that, but it's what it sounded like. And then, yeah, we the cop cars lined up here, back in the alleyway and everything too. So, yeah, just a lot of that was going on.
Just so many moving parts here in this very complicated investigation. As I mentioned at the top of the report, that original crime scene is more than 100 miles away in Mohammed.
All right, that's wrong. Muhammad is the name of that town. He got that wrong. Mohammed. He's not from around here. He's new. Muhammad is where that happened.
Illinois, where police tell us that suspect, John Lyons, shot and killed 3 people there before coming to Berwyn. And
not Berwyn. It's not called Berwyn. It's called Berwyn, not Berwyn.
Of course, that standoff ensued with police. Now, state police have now taken over the investigation. The good news is no police officers were hurt. They also tell us that there is no evident threat here, I should say, to the community, of course, here in Berwyn. We continue to investigate. We continue to speak to neighbors. And, of course, we'll have an update for you coming up at 6 o'clock. But for now, I do want to send things back to you guys in the studio.
Quite a disturbing story. Now, we've got actual like Ring doorbell cam of the killer, the person. Now, remember, this person had killed people in downstate Illinois, drove up to Berwyn to hunt Nick Fuentes, showed up on Nick Fuentes' front door with a gun and a crossbow. Nick Fuentes apparently called the police. The police showed up. The dude ran. Dude ran through a neighbor's house, killed 2 dogs, ran through the alley where he engaged in a gun battle with police and was eventually killed. Okay. Let's, do we have this? Do we have the actual video? Let me see. I know that there's video out there somewhere. Yep. All right. Here it is. I'm just going to go. I know I've got it on the Twitter. Oh, maybe I don't. Oh, here it is. Okay. Yeah. This is going to be it. All right, so here we go. Here's the video of that guy showing up on Nick Fuentes' front door. This guy would be dead in a matter of minutes. So here we go. Let's watch. I'll put that back on. Let me see here. All right, so this is the front porch of Nick Fuentes. This is the dude who has just murdered people downstate. 3 people. He's about to kill 2 dogs, and he himself is about to die in a shootout in the alley behind Nick Fuentes' home. So let's see how he approached Nick Fuentes' house. Okay, that's a crossbow. There's a handgun. He's got a handgun, and he's putting the crossbow down. See how good of a look we can get at this guy. Looks like he's got glasses and a big nose. By the way, can I just say, kind of a shitty apartment that Nick Fuentes lives in. Now, the area itself is awesome. Like, I would love to live in that area. He is literally steps from Fitzgerald's, which is like one of the coolest bars on the planet. And if you wanted a home bar, a home tavern, you could do a lot worse than Fitzgerald's. But look at this mailbox situation. This is not a well-kept apartment. This landlord, first of all, it's an old building, which, if the landlord is cool, he's done it, he's kept up with the renovations and these old walk-ups, these bungalow-type walk-ups, multi-story. I guess that wouldn't be a bungalow. But these kinds of Chicago buildings can be really cool if they're redone. Look at those mailboxes. Half the mailboxes don't have doors. How much money does Nick Fuentes make? I assume that he makes millions and millions of dollars and shouldn't be living in a funky Berwyn apartment that doesn't even have doors to the mailboxes. That's funky. He's just ringing the doorbell and waiting. Was he riding a motorcycle? Like, did he ride a motorcycle all the way up from downstate? Ugh. You're going to have to tie him. Oh, what's that? Was he calling him out?
Yo, Nick.
Yo, Nick. He yells. All right, well, within minutes, he'll be dead. There you have it. That's the saga. Nick Fuentes, as someone posted, look out, assholes. It is asshole hunting season in the United States. Let's see. What else do we have here? We covered the strike. This mayor of New York City is just such a clown show. All right, I can't be distracted by what the mayor of New York City is doing. He wanted to look. He's glad that Luigi Mangione is back in New York because the mayor of New York City wanted to look him in the eye. Oh, you tough guy. You corrupt, tough guy. Anyway, keep moving here. All right, Fuentes, we got that one. Oh, here's a good story. So Ozempic, I'm Mr. Like no Ozempic. I don't like Ozempic. I think that it's cheating. I think that if you want to have the glory of being in shape and have people go, you look great in that, you want that, you got to work for it. Now, I've been a fat guy my whole life. I've never been able to work for it. So I understand how that brass ring is always out there. And someday I will work for it and I will get there. Oh, now all of a sudden, all these people with their Ozempic, they just pop a pill. Was a pill? It's a shot, right? It's a shot. Even worse. People just shooting whatever into your body. It's going to make you lose weight. Yeah, because it's going to slowly kill you. It's going to slowly. That's not weight loss. That is actually your life falling off your body. I know a couple of people who've had great results with Ozempic. And they are unrecognizable. And that's the problem. They are unrecognizable. Which brings us to a very real problem that has actually created a whole new industry for plastic surgeons. And that is fixing what is now known as Ozempic face. Ozempic face. It's a very real thing. Oh, it is. I've been talking about Ozempic face for a while. But plastic surgeons have noticed as well that people who lose a great deal of weight on Ozempic, there are some other effects that, well, to put it bluntly, you look like a concentration camp victim. That's the end result. Yes, you lost weight. Yes, you no longer wear a 38-inch waist. You now have a 32-inch waist and you look great. But you also have sunken dead eyes and a gaunt gray complexion. That is a very real truth of Ozempic. You look fantastic. You're not fat anymore. Of course, you look dead from the inside, but you know, it's bikini season. I just don't get it. I think there's a very real issue with the way people look physically after this Ozempic transformation. And I don't know. Look, people are going to show me that it's beneficial to the overall health problem that we have in this country, where so many of us are obese. It's a problem. Okay, so if you can show me over the course of a few years, because really it ain't been around that long, you can show me that it's not killing people and it's going to contribute over the course of time, then okay, I'll back off. But I think it's cheating. As a lifelong fat guy, I think it's cheating. And I don't respect anybody who loses weight that way. I know who I respect? I respect Adam Rayna. That dude used to be fat. He ain't fat anymore. He got himself healthy because of his kids. That was his motivating factor. That is worthy of a man's respect. Ozempic? That's like some bitch stuff. That's some like I'm trying to fit into my wedding dress kind of nonsense. But okay, apparently guys are doing it. And Ozempic face is a real problem. So let's talk about this story. I want to show you some examples of what they're calling Ozempic face and how plastic surgeons are licking their chops with ways to make Ozempic face hot. Hollywood's Ozempic face crisis. Plastic surgeons reveal the celebs suffering from the gauntness and gray face syndrome. It's the latest beauty craze gone horribly wrong, and it's hitting celebrity A-listers the hardest. Many of Hollywood stars, such as Jessica Simpson and Scott Disick, faced accusations this year that they've had Ozempic face after stepping out on the red carpet with slimmed down profiles. And fans now say there are even more celebrities who have been hit with the look, typified by sunken eyes, gaunt cheeks, and sagging skin. You know, the Auschwitz look. Oh, it's all the rage this spring. Katy Perry reignited rumors over Ozempic face on Monday after fans said the 40-year-old who was on the red carpet in Philadelphia looked gaunt. And at this year's Met Gala, some viewers also raised concerns that Jennifer Lopez may be on Ozempic, saying she appeared to be really skinny and unhealthy. Lizzo, that's the other thing. It's like, hey, man, as long as you're not fat, you know, there's like that sweet spot between like AIDS and like fat where, you know, you're like, oh, that's sexy. Completely unhealthy looking, but sexy. Let's see here. Lizzo. What? What's this now? Lizzo? Did Lizzo lose a bunch of weight? She's on Ozempic? Lizzo has also been hit with allegations that she has Ozempic face, with fans saying that her weight loss journey has slimmed her appearance. Whatever. Wait, it's a weight loss journey. It's a weight loss journey. Every weight loss journey that I've ever been on ended with me in an overheated car on the side of the road. I don't want you talking about a weight loss journey. Where's the destination? Is that our goal weight? Because, okay, then I've never made it. That's not true. That's not true. I don't give myself. I have never made it when left to my own devices. I used to make weight all the time for football, wrestling, whatever, when I was a kid. But that was because of my mom. That's the only reason that I made it. All right. Lizzo and Katy Perry have denied using Ozempic, while Jennifer Lopez has not responded to the allegations at all. Dr. Adam Rubenstein, a plastic surgeon in Miami, told the Daily Mail, Ozempic face is not really anything unique to Ozempic, so much as it is the effects of losing a significant amount of weight. Is that true? Okay. All right. That might be true. But Ozempic has, sped up the process of getting to this not good look. I don't care how you got to the not good look. Ozempic is making it more prevalent. And we're just saying, yeah, you can fit into your prom dress, but that is not a good look. Dr. Smita, I don't trust anybody named Dr. Smita. Oh my God. And look at this last name. The last name is literally like Smita Rana Dama Kama Nama 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 Nama. Na 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 na. Phenomena. Dr. Smita Raman Nama Nama. All right, I'm gonna legitimately try and pronounce this name. Dr. Smita Rama Nandama Nadam. Fuck it. I'm out. I can't do that. I can't do that. This person is a plastic surgeon in New Jersey. They've added that they see a lot of volume. They see a lot of loss of volume in the face with Ozempic. And when we lose fat in the face, we see signs like cheeks that are more sunken. Concentration camp look. All right, so let's look through some of these pictures. All right, we're going to show you some of these. All right, so who's this? Hold on. How many are in this gallery? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. All right, so let's do this. Let's look at some celebrities, and let's look at what they're calling Ozempic face. All right, here we go. First and foremost, we're going to close that out. It's Katy Perry. Would you look at her? Katy Perry. All right, so there's Katy Perry. This is her in May of 2023, and this is her now. Yeah, no, what? What? 1 year ago, Ozempic face. No! Look at that. Look at this, how, a lot of makeup to bring the eyes out because they're dead and sunken. Look at this. Rosy cheeks. She's got a look. This is great. She is great here. Nope. Doesn't look great. Katy Perry, you need to find what your own kind of vibe is. You need a little bit of the freshman 15. You are a sex bomb with the freshman 15. You got to stop trying to be Ariana Grande or whoever the hell it is you're trying to be, because this ain't good. All right, there you go. That's Katy Perry. J-Lo. There you go. That's J-Lo just last May. 1 year, a year and a half ago. That's her May of 2023. That's J-Lo. She's a 50-something-year-old woman. She looks terrific. She is gorgeous, and she's going to be gorgeous for years. And then, oh, no! Oh, Jesus, what did she do? What did she do? This ain't the same person. This is, that's J-Lo. Look at her. She's got cheeks. She's got, skin in all the right places. And then it's like, no! It's not cool. That is not cool. Ozempic face. All right, who else do we got here? We got, what's this, Lizzo? Okay, all right. I didn't know Lizzo was on Ozempic. Well, I mean, she looks good. She looks good. All right. Now, she's probably got another 100 pounds to go, right? But she looks good. What they're showing us as an example of Ozempic face on Lizzo, this is much better and looks much healthier than this. This does not look good. This looks like a male, RuPaul's Drag Race kind of. This does not look, this looks good. She looks good. All right, so I'm gonna say Lizzo. She's probably still taking it though. Look, if Lizzo gets down to like 110 pounds, then, I'm sure that her face is going to be way different. But all right, who's this now? More Lizzo. All right, here we go. Scott Disick. All right, here you go. Scott Disick. We know him. He's one of the spare Kardashians. Spare Dashians. Didn't he knock up one of them like years and years ago, and somehow he's found his way to hang out in the Kardashians' orbit for like decades? Well, I guess he's raising one of the Kardashian kids. All right, so here's Scott Disick. He looks healthy. Looks like a dude. He looks like a dude. He looks like a normal, healthy dude. Here's a go. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. How long were you in the custody of Hamas? That's what he looks like. Look at this. That is Ozempic face. Boom. From that to that. Breaking news. American journalist Scott Disick has been released from captivity after 400 days living in a hole. That's not a good example. All right, who's this? Jessica Simpson? Look at that. All right, now this is Jessica Simpson screwed up, but it's been a multi-stage thing with Jessica Simpson screw up. When Jessica Simpson played Daisy Duke, that was Apex Jessica Simpson. Pink bikini. That's it. You don't get any better than that. And then it was like she kind of panicked. She was like, oh my God, I got to stay that, but I can't stay that. So she started doing some messed up things with plastic surgery. Like you got she's got the plastic surgery lips. She's got some fillers going on here. So this isn't even like prime Jessica Simpson. This is Jessica Simpson already panicking that she's getting older. And then she quit and she got real heavy. Remember, she put on a whole bunch of weight, which I always thought was really funny because people were like, look at how fat Jessica Simpson is. And I'm like, yeah, I think she's hot. Sure, she's a little heavy, but she's hot, heavy. Please. Anyway, so this isn't already on the road to screwing up what God gave her naturally. This is already well on the road to that. So here we go. This is from 2020. And that's, oh my God, she's Ann Coulter. Holy shit. Yeah. Ann Coulter looks like she's got Ozempic face, but Ann Coulter, her body just I think Ann Coulter's body just rejects nutrition. I think it just wants red wine and cigarettes. I think that's all Ann Coulter lives on. Tell me, come on, man. Look at this. From Jessica Simpson 4 years ago to this. Ozempic face. It's real. All right, who are we looking at here? All right, this is we got Sharon Osbourne. All right, Sharon Osbourne, whatever. She was always Sharon Osbourne. She looked fine. 2020. 4 years later. I don't know. 4 years later, when you're already that old, you know what I mean? You start to hit the skids pretty quick. I don't know that I can say that that's Ozempic face. I don't know. John Goodman. All right, here we go. This one's very troubling. This is one of the most high-profile examples of Ozempic face. I love the Righteous Gemstones. I love John Goodman. Dan Connor from Roseanne. The Babe. King Ralph. He was awesome in everything. John Goodman. Let's see what's going on with him. No! That is not... Actually, he looks kind of okay. He looks kind of okay in this picture. You know where John Goodman looks weird? When you see a full body shot on the Righteous Gemstones and he's wearing a suit and it's like a skinny man suit. And you're like, why is John Goodman in a skinny man suit? He has really lost a lot of weight. He doesn't look that bad. This is not a bad example. I've seen John Goodman recently where I'm like, Ozempic face. This is not a terrible. He looks good. John Goodman looks good. He looks healthy. Good for him. All right. Who's this? Who's this? Robbie Williams? Robbie Williams. All right. I don't know who Robbie Williams is. He's a famous British guy, but he was chubby, and now he's got Ozempic face. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. All right, what else do we got? Jesse Plemons. You're going to mess with Jesse Plemons? Landry from Friday Night Lights? One of America's finest young actors. All right, let's see. So here he is 2 years ago. Apparently, Jesse Plemons has gone on Ozempic. He looks great. He looks great. I'm sorry. I don't see anything that I would say is troubling Ozempic face. He looks great. There you go. I mean, he looks like Landry there. He looks like a character actor. But he's trying to be a Matt Damon. Remember, everybody's always like, well, Landry, he just kind of looks like a semi-retarded Matt Damon. That was always, but now he's a real actor. And now he's like, I want to actually be Matt Damon. So he looks good. He looks good. Jesse Plemons. All right, there he is with his crazy wife. Not Reese Witherspoon. That's what I call his wife. Who is his? I don't even know. Kirsten Dunst. There you go. Not Reese Witherspoon. Kirsten Dunst. Yesterday we were talking about these clones, all these clone models, right? The Julia Stiles, the Reese Witherspoons, the Kirsten Dunst, the Christy Swansons, the Amy Locanes. Oh yeah, they're all right there. They gave us like a dozen of them around the turn of the century, and we had to watch them all grow up. Some got retired. Some are still around, like Kirsten Dunst. Still around. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? Oh, here's a fun one. Top causes of death in the United States for 2024. All the good year-end lists are coming out. So here are all the ways. What do you think the number one cause of death in 2024 was? Gunshot wounds? No, not really. We die of stupid stuff en masse every year. And it's always, it's always something. I could see that. So let's go through the list. These are the top 10 causes of death in the United States. Actually, this is for 2023. So apparently it takes a whole year to just calculate. So 2023, top 10 causes of death. Number 10, with 49,932 deaths in the calendar year 2023. The 10th most common way that Americans died, COVID-19. COVID-19. All right, number 9, the number 9th most common way that we died, 2023. Chronic liver disease and cirrhosis, 52,224, you lushes, you rummies, you drunks. There you go. Chronic liver disease is number 9. Number 8, kidney disease. That's a rough one. That can hit any of us. That ain't good. Number 8, kidney disease. Number 7, diabetes. Because of all the shit we eat. Because we're just terrible. Number 7, 95,000 people dropped dead last year in America of the diabetes. Stop it! Eat a salad, for crying out loud. Chicken is cheap. You can eat chicken. You don't have to eat macaroni and cheese every meal for 40 years. You can eat chicken. You can just fry up some chicken. Fry! I said fry. Why? Because if you're going to do that, you may as well enjoy it. You don't have to kill all of life's joys, but you don't have to eat, sugar-coated sugar smacks for dinner every night and chase that with some macaroni and cheese hamburger helper. That, we can eat better. Diabetes. Drinking a 2-liter bottle of Mountain Dew every day. No! Stop it. 95,000 people died of diabetes. Number 7, diabetes. Number 6th cause of death here in America for 2023, the calendar year. Alzheimer's. Ladies and gentlemen, an old favorite. No pun intended. Alzheimer's. I didn't know Alzheimer's was deadly. 114,000 people. I thought Alzheimer's just, I thought Alzheimer's was really a disease that affected the people who don't have Alzheimer's. I think of it that way but apparently, look at this. It does. It says Alzheimer's accounted for 3.7% of all deaths in both 2022 and 2023, though its rate of death fell by 4% year over year. It was number 7 on the list in 2022. All right, so now it's number 6. Alzheimer's. Number 5 most common way that Americans died, chronic lower respiratory diseases, breathing problems. This category includes conditions like chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, asthma, emphysema, and bronchitis. They accounted for 4.7% of U.S. deaths. That's number 5. Number 5, chronic lower respiratory disease. Number 4, things that kill us the most here in America. Number 4, cerebrovascular disease. Cerebrovascular disease. Never heard that word, cerebrovascular. I'm very proud of myself for pronouncing it without a hiccup. Cerebrovascular disease. 162,000 people die every year. It encompasses stroke-caused deaths. Cerebrovascular disease accounted for 5.3% of total deaths in 2023. That's up from 5%. All right, cerebrovascular disease. Number 4, most common way that Americans died last year. Last year literally being last year. Number 3, here's the fun one. Oh, all bets are off with number 3. This one encompasses so many crazy things. With over 222,698 deaths last year, the number 3 most common way that Americans died, accidents and unintentional injuries. Oops. Or, as they say in England, and this is a legitimate cause of death in England, death by misadventure. I love that. I want on my death certificate to say death by misadventure. That's like somebody's like, how did he die? Well, he tried to roller skate between 2 buildings and, death by misadventure. I love that. Unintentional injuries resulting from things like drug overdoses, car accidents, falls, etc. remain the number 3 killer of Americans in 2023. They accounted for 7.2% of all U.S. deaths. Us out there being stupid, being clumsy, avoidable things. The number 3 way we die. Totally avoidable things. Number 2. Well, this bitch had to show their head. I can't believe it's not number 1. It's number 2. This is a shocker because, this is like the least popular thing on the planet. Think about this. If you had to think about the least popular, okay, so like most popular thing on the planet, obviously Taylor Swift. Most popular thing on the planet is Taylor Swift, followed closely by clean air. Breathable air is number 2 most popular thing on the planet. Taylor Swift is number 1. What is the least popular thing on the planet? What's the least popular thing? That's the number 2 cause of death. It's got to be cancer, right? Cancer. Cancer is like the least popular thing on earth. Nobody likes cancer. Nobody's like, cool, cancer, right? It's terrible. It kills our moms. It kills our grandmas. It kills our kids. It kills us. Cancer comes for us all. Cancer is the natural occurring thing within the human body. If we live to be 150, 200, 300 years, we will eventually die of cancer because our cells they're going to break down and they're going to turn into cancer. It's just a matter of time. Some of us get like 85, 90, 95, 100, 105 years. Cancer doesn't show up. Queen Elizabeth never had cancer. She lived to be like 102. I bet if she had lived to be 103, cancer would have shown up. Just saying, it's going to show up in all of us. It might not, we might not make the first down, if you know what I mean. Like we might die before the cancer shows up in our body, but cancer sucks. It's coming for us all. It's out there. No matter how healthy you are. I run 6 miles a day and I've never eaten processed food. Cancer don't give a fuck. Cancer's coming for you. Just a matter of when it decides to show up. Number 2 cause of death in America, the loathsome cancer. 613,000 deaths last year. Number 1, the number 1 cause of death in America. Number 1, heart disease. 680,000 people, 981. I've got a recent history with the heart disease cause of death diagnosis. I think it's bullshit. I think that the reason that it's number 1 year in, year out is because that heart disease is common. I think that as I've had numerous doctors explain to me, every doctor has said this exact same thing. People can have heart disease for 60 years. Totally healthy people can have heart disease at 25 years old and live another 75 years before the heart disease ever even shows itself. People live with forms of heart disease. And the reason I believe heart disease is number 1 is because heart disease upon an autopsy is immediately recognizable. And what I think is happening here, why heart disease is year in and year out the number 1 cause of death in America, is because I think we've got lazy coroners. I think that we get bodies in and they open up people who died of other things. The coroner sees heart disease and goes, well, that's what it is, cause of death. This is my feeling about my partner, Kelly. My partner, Kelly's cause of death was listed as heart disease. Like she was, some OB, like she wasn't a CrossFit instructor. That's what she was doing. You guys know how insanely healthy and how insanely, there was never any sign of heart disease. People who get diagnosed with heart disease, who have problems resulting from heart disease, there's signs. They're chain smokers. They're fat, whatever. They don't run 10 miles a day, right? So I don't know. That was the cause of death for Kelly, heart disease. Some coroner down there opened her up and went, oh, she's got heart disease. And every doctor friend of Kelly, and Kelly had a lot of doctor friends, every one of them that I've spoken to afterwards, they said she could have had heart disease for another 50 years. That doesn't mean that's what killed her. We still don't know exactly what it was. And they closed her up, closed the book, and okay, heart disease. The world's healthiest person that I have ever known. And you people who know her know that that was her pride, her health. Her body was a temple. She used to not sit during the show so that she could run in place. Did this all the time. Commercial breaks is when she would do calisthenics in the corner of the studio. She had a trainer. Kevin, you guys remember Kevin the trainer? She had a trainer that would hang out in studio and work her out during commercial breaks. I mean, she was nuts. She was nuts. She used to run 6 miles every morning at like 6 a.m. 6 miles, 3 out, 3 back. So don't tell me heart disease. Anyway, heart disease is number one. Once again, why? Because again, as doctors have told me in recent months, heart disease is very identifiable. They rip you open and it's the first thing. Oh, there's a sign of heart disease. That's probably what killed him. And then they close you up, move on, get the next one. Heart disease, once again, the number one cause of death. And I'm calling bullshit on half of them. Anyway, let's move on. All right, good times. Let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, there was a fun story yesterday. I believe it was in the Wall Street Journal about the New York Jets and the dysfunction that the New York Jets have been going through. Of course, New York Jets, Woody Johnson is the owner. Woody Johnson is a terrible owner by all accounts. Also, he's the new, Trump has appointed him ambassador to the court of St. James, which is like, that's England. That's England. I always like to point that out. England is the only ambassadorship that, you don't necessarily call it the UK. Because it's much fancier than that. It's the best ambassador job. It's the most important ambassador job. The most important ambassador we got two. We got our ambassador to the United Nations and then our ambassador to England. That's like the top ones. Woody Johnson is going to be ambassador to England. Good for him. Woody Johnson, according to this story, was making decisions for the New York Jets, overriding his general manager and his coaches and his scout teams, overriding them on major decisions based upon what Woody Johnson's teenage sons thought. And Woody Johnson's teenage sons apparently were using the Madden game as whether or not players were good. One of the great examples that they give is that the New York Jets made a trade or attempted to make a trade or were trying to get into the Jerry Jeudy business. Jerry Jeudy was a Denver Bronco. Jerry Jeudy was a wide receiver, and the deal was about to go through, and Woody Johnson burst into the office and called the deal off because his son said his Madden rating wasn't high enough. That's the New York Jets. And I tell that story just because I know that a lot of people here listening are either Cowboy fans or also in Chicago Bear fans. So whenever we think of how dysfunctional our two organizations are, and the Cowboys are very dysfunctional, as are the Bears, very dysfunctional. Maybe, just maybe, there's a team out there that's even more dysfunctional, the New York Jets. They don't know what to do with Aaron Rodgers. They're like, ugh. This guy. By the way, you've been watching the Aaron Rodgers Netflix documentary. He's got it's like a 3-part Aaron Rodgers, like, this is me. I'm Aaron Rodgers. I'm an enigma. I think that's what it's called. It's either called Aaron Rodgers Asshole or Aaron Rodgers Enigma. I'm not sure. It's on Netflix, and he is a total dick. He's a douche. He's a son of a bitch. I watched one episode. I don't know that I'm going to watch that. I think there's 3. I don't know if I'm going to watch episode 2 and 3. I watched episode 1. Point is this, the Jets are screwed. They don't want him to come back. Maybe he will come back. They need a quarterback. They don't have a quarterback. The guy they got is 40 years old and he looks cooked. And he's an asshole. And they don't have a coach. And they got, oh my God, the Jets. How about this last night? Did you see this? This was fun. There was a game last night. Of course there is. Thursday Night Football. It's a real thing. It's been a real thing for a while now, so don't get all up in a bunch saying that I'm making shit up. Monday night, Thursday night, Monday night. This was last night. This was weird. I want to show this. Came at the end of the first half. Broncos versus the Chargers. By the way, I just love the Chargers uniforms. That's such a cool color combination with the Thunderbolts. I love those. Those were my helmets in high school. We were the Thunderbolts, and we had helmets like that. But not those colors. We had Pittsburgh Steeler colors with those helmets, Thunderbolt helmets. But I like this better. I like the UCLA homage blue and gold. Anyway, point is this. Saw something I never saw before in football. I mean, you never saw it either. And I know this because now I've seen the research, and apparently it hasn't been done since 1976, and I guess I wasn't watching football that time. It's a free kick for a field goal, a rule I didn't even know existed. And they're trying to explain it to me, and I still don't know. So if you fair catch a kickoff, with 0 time remaining on the clock, you are, if you feel so bold, allowed to attempt what's called a free kick with 0 time on the clock. Just from where you fair caught it, you can bring out your team, wherever it is. You know, most of the time you make these fair catches, you're at 25 to 20 to 30. So, you know, there's not a whole lot of people out there trying to do 80-yard free kick field goals, so we don't see it. Jim Harbaugh apparently loves this play, and he has always been a fan, and he's always tried to find ways to get in a position to try this. And why not? It's a free 3 points. So they did it last night on Thursday Night Football, a fair catch of the ball with 0 time on the clock. They run the field goal team out, and they do a free kick, which is not only something we never see just as a play, but the alignment of the way the players have to line up. I promise you, none of these players had ever done this before. None of these players, they were all like, what? What is this now? How is this? Where am I supposed to stand? All right, here it is. 0 time on the clock, the end of the first half, last night's Thursday night game. Here are the Los Angeles Chargers attempting one of the rarest things you've ever seen in football.
8 of 9 from 50 plus.
Let's go.
Here.
Put it through.
So J.K. Scott's going to hold it. And this would make it 21-13 at the half if it's good.
I mean, he takes all the time. This is like warm-ups.
Look at that. Like, what is that? Like, what? Like a kickoff arrangement? I don't know what this is. And how far? A 50, so a 57-yard attempt. So they fair caught it at the. This is a weird. All right.
Mims is all the way back in case it's short, and he wants to run it back. So Dicker, 3 years now, solving Charger kicking woes for several years prior to that. Can he bang it through? On its way, it is. Yep.
Made history tonight.
Yes. There you go.
All right.
Terry, great call.
We'll take the 3. Why not? All right, there it is. The rarest play you've ever seen in a football game. I never seen that before. Didn't even know it was a possibility, but you know, now maybe it'll be a thing. Let's see. What else do we have? You know, let's end it on this because I feel like I can talk about this a little bit. So one of my favorite of the superheroes, and by the way, this has become a big topic of contention between me and my 15-year-old son, because my 15-year-old son has come of age in the superhero era. Like my son, what I had in the Star Wars era with Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back and all that, you know, those are his Avenger movies. He's got that. So he's all about the superheroes. And from the very beginning, I have been like 5 years old, you know, from the first time he's discovering Iron Man and Spider-Man and all these things. Very early on, I'm saying, but son, there is another man that I must tell you about. And his name is Superman. And I've always tried And then they made the only Superman thing that he's aware of was Batman versus Superman. And that is not, spoiler alert, they had Batman win. Okay. Which I guess they had to. You have to have Batman. How are you going to make a movie Batman versus Superman? Right? Because you can't make that movie. Because anybody reasonable is like, wait, Superman's going to fight Batman? Yeah. So Batman's going to die in the first 2 seconds? That's what's going to happen? Like, they're going to show up at the same place and Superman's going to look at Batman, who's just a billionaire in a cool suit, and Superman the alien is just going to do that laser thing, you know? Like, we've seen him disintegrate mountains. We're pretty sure. Fuck! So that's not a movie. You can't make Batman versus Superman because every reasonable person is like, Superman would fucking kill Batman. What? So, of course, they make the movie and they make, Sixth Sense, M. Night Shyamalan bullshit. Batman wins. Batman can't win. Batman can't win. They had to cheat. Kryptonite. Okay. Oh, you cheater. So that's been a big problem between me and my son all these years. All these years, my son's like, well, Batman, he can't even take Batman, which is a problem for me because I also love Batman. And I have to say, well, why are you shitting? Why is Batman catching strays? Batman's not a pussy. Batman is badass. He just ain't Superman, okay? He's just not an alien from another planet who gravity doesn't affect his muscles in the same way, so he's like 1 billion times stronger. So I've had a problem with my kid. He's like, Superman's gay. I'm like, you're gay. You know? I like Marvel, but I also like DC. I'm sorry, I'm a fan of DC. I like Batman. I like Superman. I like Wonder Woman. I like DC, the Justice League. That was my sweet spot in the 1970s and the 80s growing up. Marvel was like poor kid superheroes. Marvel was like the also-rans. Like, what? What is that off-brand DC Justice League bullshit? What do you call it? The Avengers? And then Hollywood flipped the script and they changed it. And now all of a sudden it's like DC is like the secondary one. And DC's been, shit in the bed. DC, it's not great. DC hasn't made really great films. The Christopher Reeve Superman film, the original one, is, I think, brilliant. And I think it's incredible. And of course, I've forced my son to watch that, to which he's like, it's not as good as Civil War. I'm like, of course, Avengers, Civil War. Everything gets compared to Avengers, Civil War. So they got a new Superman movie. So they've been promising for years. They teased us. With that. What was that one? They I don't know. It was a really cool superhero movie. But at the very end of it, they showed us Superman, and it was not black Superman. He's not like, Jamie Foxx is playing him. I mean, like, he's wearing a black suit. He was like dark. He was like Dark Knight version Superman. He was like pissed off Superman. And they showed him for a second. They teased us with that. And then it's been nothing for years. And so we understand that Superman is being rebooted and remade for the big screen. It's going to be a huge, huge blockbuster. I believe it's going to fail because I think this is too little too late. I think that most big superhero films will fail from here on out. I think we've reached our crescendo there. But whatever, DC's going to force another Superman on us, and they are promising. James Gunn, isn't this the guy? James Gunn is making it, so this is supposed to be cool. I've always said you got to make Superman. Superman is a difficult character to make cool in 2024 because he's corny. Because everything that Superman stands for are these Cold War kind of values that now ring as corny or forced or, bullshit, flag pin, fake patriot. That's kind of been the cross that Superman has had to bear. The Avengers are allowed to be assholes. Tony Stark is allowed to do drugs and bang chicks and, all that shit. That's an unfair advantage. You can't do that with Superman. Superman's not allowed to do that. So I've been begging. And by begging, I just mean quietly thinking in my head, gee, I hope they reinvent Superman. So I've been hoping that they reinvent Superman. I will tell you this, Man of Steel from 5 6 years ago now, great film. Man of Steel is great. I think Man of Steel, it bombed. Nobody went and saw it. But if you want the Superman origin story, Man of Steel from, a couple of years ago is fantastic. I love that film. But now we're getting it one more time. One more Superman, and the trailer has dropped. So let's watch the new Superman trailer. This film isn't coming out till the summer, but hey, that's not going to stop them from pumping the hell out of it. I'm sure that we'll see a whole bunch of this trailer over the Christmas holidays. We'll see it throughout the football playoffs. Hell, there may even be a new master cut for the Super Bowl because DC is all in on reinventing their flagship brand. That is, of course, Superman. Let's check it out. Here it is, trailer for the new Superman movie.
Crypto. Home. Take me home.
Superman.
Are you kidding me? I gotta wait till July for the new Superman. Okay, couple of thoughts. A couple of conflicting thoughts. Because my first thought is, when that music began to swell, the Superman theme, I was like, oh, I got chills! I got chills! And then you see the approaching, he's laying there in the snow. He's all bloody. First of all, who punched Superman in the face? Who got that close? Superman, who did you let get that close that they could punch you in the face? Who was this guy? So Superman lands and he does he's like, come on, boy. So like a dog comes. And the dog shows up. I gotta be honest, I don't like the dog. I do not like the dog. Because remember, I was promised a darker, more brooding Superman. That trailer doesn't show me a darker, more brooding Superman. That trailer shows me a Superman who is leaning into the classic traditional idea of who Superman is and what he is supposed to represent. That is an idea that I think is corny to 2024, 2025 audiences, but let's see. All bets are off. I don't know. I wanted dark, brooding, angry, pissed off Superman who's been betrayed. That's the one I wanted. That's not what we got. What we got was Superman with his dog, and his dog's adorable. And we're going to have Super Dog spinoffs. Hell, there's going to be a Disney Plus series, Super Dog. I don't know. That's kind of... I very much enjoy the Guardian of the Galaxy films. So I like, the way James Gunn does storytelling. So I'm going to stay open-minded. And if you just give me classic Superman without trying to reinvent his backstory or his motivations, if you just give me the classic Superman and you do it well, then I'm in, because I already love that. I do not think it'll be a big hit. Selfishly, I want Superman to be a big hit because I want Superman to become cool in the eyes of my son. And I just don't think the cute little Benji dog is going to do that. I think the Benji dog is a little bit corny. Now, what would have been badass? What if that dog was like a pit bull? What if Superman's dog was a pit bull? And the pit bull was awesome, and it was super strong. What if it was like the pit bull? Remember the pit bull that Brad Pitt had in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Remember that dog that would sit and wait for its food? That dog, that super dog. They gave us a fruity little. They gave us a dog. They gave us a woman's dog. Can we be honest? They gave us, Superman has a woman's dog. What? Did Lois go out of town and you got to watch her? Is that what's happening here? That ain't Superman's dog. Superman doesn't have that dog. Superman has a Great Dane. Can't Superman have a fucking badass dog? An American Staffordshire Terrier, a big giant one. Put a cape on that bitch, see who laughs. Ain't nobody laughing. But no, we got a cute dog. Was the dog a special alien dog? How does that work? How do we have dogs in that planet? Explain how that happened. I guess they would be like, well, how do you have people? I don't know. I have seen a lot of Superman stuff. Cartoons, comic books, movies. I've seen much depictions. I've seen many depictions of Krypton, his planet, where he's from. I've seen what life was like there. I've seen it imagined through many different ideas. You know what I've never seen about life in Krypton? Dogs. So don't tell me that dog came from Krypton, because there's never been a dog on Krypton before. So how is that dog special? How does that dog have superpowers? And why did you choose to make it a girl's dog? All right, we're going to leave you with some really bad news. A car has driven into a crowd at a Christmas market in Germany. This is breaking news right now. Seems like this happens every year over in that part of the world. Doesn't look good. We're seeing raw footage. This is from Magdeburg, Germany. At least one person is dead. Several are hurt after a car plows into a crowd at a Christmas market in Germany. All right. Yeah, I know, Jeff. Jeff's like, it's DC, so it'll be Max. Marvel is Disney Plus. I think that's it. That's going to do it. Thank you one more time to today's executive producer. We know him as the Sports Bras. Thank you so much. They were the big tipper yesterday, so they are today's executive producer. Thank you, guys. I really do appreciate it. Also, if you want to tip the show as well, you want to be the executive producer for Monday, ain't got no tips yet. That's okay. It's just Friday before Christmas. I get it. You people got to make sure you got enough for your families. Take care of your people. And then, maybe circle back and take care of your favorite non-divisive, non-political daily talk radio show. Take care of the kids first. So thank you to CC and thank you to the Sports Bras. Check them out. Like, follow. Again, there you go. Cash App, Venmo, if you want to help out the show. I got nothing else. That's it. Big weekend of football. I got a meeting that I got to do here in the next few minutes, and then I think I am out. I am done, and we'll see you back here Monday. Live from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios in the beautiful E-Gallery. This has been The Rant. I am Pugs Moran. This is RadioMisfits.com. Have yourself a very Merry Christmas weekend.